Which of the new acquisitions slash current Jays prospects have an inside track on a job with the Jays in 2025? Welcome back to Swing and a Drive. I'm James. That guy over there is Logan. We're longtime friends. We're former high school baseball coaches. We're massive Blue Jays fans, and we thank you for joining us for a few minutes. We're about 2 weeks clear of the trade deadline that saw the Blue Jays move 8 players, which clearly opened a bunch of holes on the roster that have now since been filled by a series of call-ups from AAA and through the trade deadline. We've got several new faces in the organization. Some are exciting, some we'll see down the line. But today we want to find out which of the guys we're seeing now, which of the guys coming up are the ones with the inside track on a job next year. Which ones are standing out to us? So Logan, I'm going to throw it to you. Who is catching your eye? Which of the new arrivals is catching your eye and making a statement? And who's got the inside track on a job with the Jays next year?
Okay, so I think the first part of that question is like really easy, and the second part of that question is rather difficult. Catching my eye, for sure. I mean, you got Billy Dubs, Will Wagner,
Yes.
Crushing doubles, hitting well, making some web gems out there in at second base. Definitely eye catching. Is he on the team next year? I mean, if this is sustained for the rest of the season, I'll say yes, he will be on the team next year. But positionally, he's kind of locked. If we also include that Spencer Horwitz, who's also catching eyes with going back to back with Vladdy and still hitting quite well and also playing good defense. If he's locked in at second base because we locked Vladdy in at first base, then I don't know if Wagner's path is as clear then, unless maybe he gets moved to third or Horwitz gets moved to third. I'm not saying or Vladdy gets moved to third because that's a stupid idea.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
So yeah, like they're there. Like I think both of those guys have a chance to be on the team next year. The next 40 games will tell us who has a better chance. Or
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's
mean,
both of them. Maybe it's both of them. They're both good left-handed bats. That's the upside to both of them is that they hit left-handed.
so Billy Dubs, since he's only 2 games, but he's already joined a very elite level in Blue Jays history with being only the 5th player in Blue Jays history to record 5 hits in his first 2 games. And
yeah,
the list that he's on is full of Blue Jays
3 of them are
greats.
doubles.
So part of
He's
the Billy
already got
Dubs
more
nickname.
hits than his soon-to-be Hall of Fame dad.
There you go. Yeah, like I mean, he's got a 1625 OPS in his first couple of games. Pretty not bad.
I think that's
So,
okay.
like you said
Yeah,
though, if it's sustained, right? Like this is some of these guys that have been here
yeah.
for a
It's
little bit
so
longer.
hard. Yeah, exactly.
We feel like we know what we're getting a little bit more, but with Will Wagner, it's just
Right? Like that's just it.
we don't know.
You think that over the last month or whatever, Spencer Horwitz has kind of locked himself in at second base for next year, and then along comes Billy Dubs, and he only plays second base according to Fangraphs, and he hasn't played anywhere else positionally yet. So, I mean, maybe he's a guy you move to third. Maybe I don't know. It's a tough one. I think he's got a good chance at being on the team in 2025. I think sneakily, like he was the guy in this trade for Kikuchi, right?
It could
I
be.
like Jake Bloss. I know we got Jake Bloss, and he has had some major league time, and that's great. And I think he'll be up next year. I don't think we'll see Jake Bloss this season. I don't think he'll be stretched out enough with his pitch limit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, but I think yeah, like sneakily, Will Wagner was the guy in this trade for Kikuchi.
Well, and I mean, if he works out, that's great. I think that he wasn't on anybody's radar here until 2 days ago,
Until
and
a
then
couple
all
of
of a
days
sudden,
ago,
and you're like, wait, what?
when he took the first pitch he saw in the right center field for a double, I was like, good
Yeah,
guy's swing.
yeah, it was a very, very nice start, and they've been talking about his swing, and like it's a short, compact little swing. It's a good
Yeah,
contact swing. He might add power later, but who knows? He looks like a complete ball player. He's 26 years
I
old,
agree. He's
so he
not a
doesn't
kid.
have
Exactly. He's not
he
a
doesn't
kid. Just because he's a rookie, he's not a kid.
yeah. So he's one of those
Older than
guys
his
that
dad.
could impact quickly for sure, and
Yeah,
that
exactly.
would be great to fill in a hole internally like that
Which
without having
also
to.
I think, I mean, Horwitz is 26 too, and I know I keep going back to these two guys. Kind of, they seem to be the two that I think have the best chance. Um, they're not kids, and that's a
No,
big part of it.
yeah, yeah. For me, the guy that has kind of caught my eye is a kid. It's Leo Jimenez. Something about just the way he plays ball. I appreciate his. He's just got his solid athleticism. Um, he's not knocking the cover off the ball or anything, but he's he's producing like a major leaguer already. So if he could bump it up a little bit, he's got really good defense. I think that Leo Jimenez has a good chance. Um, does he have the inside track? Like he's a middle infielder, and I don't think he's got an inside track at second base at all, based on both Billy Dubs and
There's definitely a logjam now at second
yeah,
base,
and with her
right?
with Horowitz there too. So Leo Jimenez has a harder path to being on the team next year, but he definitely in his time with the Jays so
I
far has been a standout in
yeah
my mind from what I've seen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can continue to do. And
yeah
like
I
we
agree
were,
with you completely. He's been solid.
yeah, and we were talking about it before. And if he ends up turning into a trade piece because there's just nowhere for him on this roster, then we should get something pretty decent. Like it's not nothing for him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But I kind of am with you on the inside track question. It's for me. It's Horowitz and it's Wagner on the inside track on being on the team next year.
Yeah,
Based on
definitely.
the just the quickest little what we've seen of Wagner, and we have to wait until see if he's
Yeah, we
sustainable.
got to see a few more ABs, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
he's only had a handful of at bats. Um, he's riding the high of being the call up and stuff. So yeah, we'll see him play over the next few weeks and see how it goes. I think it's going to be good. He looks like a ball player, like we said,
yeah,
and I think he's got a good chance. Um, I agree completely with what you said about Leo Jimenez. I think that he is a very solid defender. There's a logjam at second base, so he's probably not going there. And we obviously have to figure out the Bo situation. Um, but if Bo's gone, I could see him being the shortstop of the future for the Blue Jays for a little while. Uh,
yeah.
I mean, batting average not fantastic. He did get a home run the other day. Um, we'll see. We'll see with him. He's just a solid ball player. So
Yeah,
does
exactly.
he move the needle for me a ton? Not really. But he's he's a good guy to have. So, like I see him as like the 26th guy,
Yeah, he could
right?
easily be a 26 guy for
You know,
sure.
like a backup infielder, backup middle infield guy. He'll play some second. He'll play some short. He
Yeah,
might play some third.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
left. Yeah,
one of the
young
names,
Ernie Clement.
one of the names that I guess there's two of the names because they're both potential left fielders that kind of you might think we should put on this list are Addison Barger and Joey Loperfido. Because Joey Loperfido's already been in the majors and he's here now and he's very good at on the defensive side for sure. Um, but neither of those players for me are like standing out as
No.
like these guys got to be on the major league roster somewhere. Like they're either a 26 guy or they're in AAA for my money.
Yeah, I think most people are way higher on Barger than they should be. Um,
Yes.
that that swing man is ugly. It's just ugly.
And the
It's got some pop because he's a strong dude.
oh yeah, he's ripped.
And when he gets into one, it's going to go. but man, that swing has holes in it, and they will be exposed at the major league level as they have been. He's got work. He's got work before he's a major leaguer. So I
So
agree with you there. Low Profito for me is closer in for the two.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. The good thing about Jimenez and Barger are they're 23 and 24 years old, respectively.
Mm,
With Lou Perfido's 25, so he's the same age as like Vladdy, and they're sort of a middle age, that 25 years old, 26 years old with all
yeah,
these guys, which is great. And that's
really
I think
good.
that's great. And the rest of these guys that we're seeing right now, Baroa, De Los Santos, um, I think we're probably like they're not doing enough right now to or from what we've seen, they're very brief stints to say they have an inside track on a job with the Blue Jays next year. I just that's
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. Um, Stuart Baroa is the guy that they felt okay bringing up and then just leaving on the bench for 2 weeks.
yeah,
Like they're not concerned about him getting ABs, getting developed. So like that tells me that his doesn't really have a future with the team, right?
it's
Like
an
they're
interesting
not
insight.
concerned. They're not concerned about his development.
Yep.
Because they say it with everybody. Oh, we don't want to bring him up yet. We want him to stay down. We don't want to bring him up and have him sit on the bench. We don't want to bring this guy up and have him. It was a big thing with Barger. We don't want to bring him up and have him sit on the bench. We want him to stay in the major leagues and get his at bats.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, not that they're like giving up on Stuart Baroa, but I don't think that they're as invested in him as they are with some of the other younger, especially outfielders. And now that we got the Loperfido and there is Barger to develop, and whatever the deal is with Snyder, like his path to playing is only in left field now, in my opinion.
David Schneider. Yeah, we haven't even brought
Yeah,
him up in
right.
this
So you
chat
haven't even
yet.
really brought him up in the chat, and that's
Yeah.
for good reason. Like
It's
right
over.
now,
We know he's the writing is on the
yeah,
wall for him.
the honeymoon is over with Snyder, right? Like
Yeah.
fan favorite, great. You know what I think about that. Like
Yep.
I am more than happy to move on from fan favorites if it brings in better ball players. Um, no offense to Davis Schneider, hardworking dude, like him. I've liked everything he's done so far, but man, his bat has gone downhill. Pitchers are exposing his weaknesses. He's not making the adjustments. I think
Yeah.
he needs to get optioned, and one of these other guys needs to come up.
We let go of 4 position players and 4 pitchers. So if you're just going to say numbers for numbers, and you have to take 4 position players and fill in 4 position players, we'll have another episode where we talk about the free agent class and who we think we want to target in free agency. But you're going to get at least one or
It's
two.
bleak.
You're gonna,
Spoiler.
yeah, it's not a great free agent class, which is another reason why looking at what we have in the minors in our system is really important to identify. Because if you're going for 1 or 2 free agent players to fill in your roster, and then the other positions are filled in by the rookies or the young people,
Yeah.
like that. So what position will we find in free agency to fill? I think will go a long way to determining uh, who actually ends up on the roster next year
Yeah.
based on positional openness. Like I think
Well,
one of the reasons why Billy Dubs is a Blue Jay today is because um, Houston's
Altuve.
Altuve has just re-signed an extension to like to 2056 or some
Yep.
crazy thing when he's 93 years old. So uh, there was no path for him to
Yeah,
become a major
exactly.
leaguer anytime soon. So our benefit,
And
great.
yep, his benefit too, right? Like he's on
Yeah,
the field now. Like
yeah,
debuting, he clearly should have been debuting somewhere already because he can
because
hit.
he looks it. Yeah, yeah, he looks
He
it.
can play the part.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think to that point, these infielders are the guys that need to step up. Like this is where we need to build from within, and we go get pitching in free agency.
so I think we've chosen um, Billy Dubs. This is a thing. It started here on Swing and a Drive. This is his nickname. It will
Billy
stick.
Dubs,
Billy Dubs is good. It's just run with it.
you can.
Just
It works on so many levels.
yeah, like just accept it.
It is decided.
So we got Billy Dubs, we've got Spencer Horwitz, and we've got Leo Jimenez currently with the inside track on a job next year. I think we should end the discussion there. We've got a couple young guys with a inside track on a job next year. We will see
Billy
how the
Dubs,
rest of
he's my guy. I'm sticking with that.
We'll see how the rest of the year plays out. If you guys took anything from this video, please give us a like on the bottom of the screen there and subscribe to our channel. It will help us with the gods of the algorithm and
Ring the bell.
help us grow our channel. So we appreciate you watching. Definitely leave a comment or two below if you think we're way off base on our assessment, or if you guys want to just tell us what you think about some of these young guys. We'd love to hear it. So until then, we'll talk again.
Go Jays.
Okay, peace, guys.